Hey everybody! I'm about 5 minutes late. I've been scrambling around here, but I'm really excited about our project today. My name is Leslie Benson. I am the founder of the Plaid Poodle Paper Crafting Company. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I teach people how to make pretty things out of paper stamps and ink. Um, if you're here, make sure to comment so I know you're here, because if you don't comment, I don't know you're here. And I always send out the card we make to someone who comments because I know who's here. And I will have a drawing. I'll draw all the names from the comments, and we will see who gets it in today's card. You're going to want today's card. I'm just saying. Okay, so say hi, say hello. I've got this overlay here, and I'm going to try and scooch it up further on the screen there. So hopefully it won't get in our way. Hi, Donna. I still have your question, and I will get to that. I was just scrambling around to get ready for this, and I will find out what that die is for. Donna had a question on the Cherish the Season bundle. Let's look at it. It's a really pretty, if I can even find my catalog. I think the catalog is right under here under my laptop. So hold on, I'm going to give you all a little ride. Let's find that bundle and see what Donna's talking about. Since she's on here, I think they list all the bundles in the back here. It's the one with the bells, really cute. Oh, here, let me put my, there we go. We can see what I'm looking at. It is on page 33 of the annual catalog, or not the annual catalog, the holiday mini. This, it looks like it's going to cut out for, you know what, I'm wondering, Donna, if it's the bell, you see how each of the bells has a band? I wonder if it's to cut out an separate band for the middle of the bells, because there's 4 different sizes. It's just a thought that I'm thinking, because I see one here on this sample. There's a little bit of dimension, and I'm wondering if that's what those are for. So I hope that answered your question. That's a really pretty set. Reminds me of that song, Come On, Ring Those Bells. Hi, Chris and Carol. We have an important drawing to do. This is the second day of September. So I am going to draw the winner of the Flying Home stamp set. I've got all my spreadsheets, and you guys don't know how I sweat over this. I count and recount and check and recheck, and then I type the names in the same font, and I cut the little slips of paper the same size, so there's not one advantage to anybody. I wish I could send everybody a stamp set. Okay, so I'm gonna just yank one out of here. Valerie Greenow. Ha! Congratulations, Valerie. Valerie is an esthetician up north, so if you need some facial stuff done and eyebrows and things like that, I could refer you right up to her if you live up in the Northland of Kansas City. She had a studio where I taught my my classes in the same building, so that's where I know Valerie from. Okay, I'm going to show you the card. It's a wow card. I'm hoping that the colors, the camera is going to pick it up. I am going to make this, I think, and do a 6x4 and frame it in a 4x6 frame. for a fall decoration. But I did make this one into a card. And we're doing a special technique for the background. Doesn't it look kind of like Claude Monet back there? And you can do this with any colors. So it would be fun to do it with some blues and purples maybe for snow, or some real pastels and for spring and things like that. It's similar to the baby wipe technique if you've ever done that, but it's different. And I'm going to show you how we do it. You need some glossy cardstock or glossy photo paper, and I have glossy photo paper. You can order this from, and you don't have to get a box this big, Amazon. Also, you know, if you go on some of these printing sites, you can ask for samples, because I know I once got a sample pack, so I got some glossy photo paper in my sample pack for free that time. But I do print, occasionally I will print some photos for scrapbooking, and so I had this box. It's glossy, it has to be glossy. And you're going to need just rubbing alcohol and cotton balls, probably just 2 cotton balls. And then I'm using gloves because it is kind of messy and I didn't want to get my hands all. Normally I don't mind, but I don't know. Today I'm being picky and I had these gloves. Give me a thumbs up if you guys have bought gloves at the beginning of COVID. Boxes of gloves. So we have boxes of gloves. So I thought I'm going to use them for this because I am going to get a little inky, and I'm going to move my card so I don't get it all gross. I took 4 re-inkers, and I'll explain what colors I took. I just kind of picked some fall colors, and then I'm going to take the rubbing alcohol, and I keep this down here in my craft studio because I fill this spray bottle. It's a Mary Kay, empty Mary Kay bottle, but I fill it with the rubbing alcohol, and this is what I clean my blocks off with when I do have a minute to do that. So I really, I use it a lot for different things. So when I saw this technique, I just thought, oh, well, I got all those things. Let's try it. I am really saturating my cotton ball, and you can see the ink from previously coming off on the cotton ball. But what I'm going to do is I'm taking some terracotta tile re-inker. And if you want a color to be predominant, add more. You can adjust it later, like if after we daub this all on here. This one is pumpkin pie, so I've got terracotta and pumpkin pie. And I wanted to add some crushed curry. And old olive at the end. So I kind of just did 3 squirts of each. But if I'll show you as we do this, if you find you've got too much of one color or it's getting kind of muddy, we can add some more. Okay, now I'm going to use my craft sheet because this will kind of make a mess. Now, I noticed when I did this, you can't see on my polished stone. Is that what it's called, Carol Schaefer? I'm not sure. I think you could really, if you were really practiced at it, you could make it something look like leather or polished stone or marble. Mine's just kind of a blurry mess. I did find from I think it's the glossy part of the photo paper that my cotton ball would tend to stick to it after a while, after it kind of dried. And but that's okay because it just leaves a little bit more texture. After it dried, I pulled any excess that was too wild off, but I wouldn't worry about it. So the alcohol, and now see, I'm thinking maybe I need to add more color, but there's no magic to it. See there, here comes my cotton ball. And I did notice it darkened up a little bit after it dried. So I am getting, I think, too much green, which is making brown, I think. The other one I got had too much yellow, which it could be too much yellow and orange. I'm going to add a little bit of the terracotta tile and the but see, there's no magic to it. I think the alcohol in the and the ink kind of react to each other and it kind of blends. Now this is more pink and terracotta. I really like that. And then this has more green in it. Isn't that cool? So you think it's called polished stone? Okay. I thought it looked kind of like watercolor Monet, and you can see some of the little cotton ball-y things. And I just kind of pulled them off after everything dried. And I suppose you could just keep going and, you know, layer on some more color or whatever. But that's how easy that is. Isn't that awesome? Okay, I forgot to get paper towels. I'm going to lay this aside to dry because I already did a few this morning. I was playing mad scientist down here. And here's our card. Put my lids on my inks. It's something to just play with and use different colors when you have some time. I don't think the photo paper is that expensive. I can't remember, it's been so long ago. All right, so here are the two that I did earlier. Now this one I really went to town on, and it's got very, very regal, rich, dark colors. And then this one is the other half of this one. So I determined if I used a 4 by 6 inch piece of photo paper, I could get 2 cards out of it. And I just, you guys, I'm getting notifications from Sam's Club. I thought I turned off my notifications. And there's like 150 notifications. And if you don't turn off every one of them, you end up with, they just keep coming. Okay, so I cut this in half so I could get 2 cards out of it. So it's about 6 inches. It's a little over 6 inches. Let's measure. So you can use it for more than one project. I think I'm just going to cut 3 1/4 off. See, and then you still have a lot left over for something else. I thought it would be really fun to die cut leaves out of these as well for a card. In fact, that was my first plan. I was going to die cut some leaves, but then do you ever start something and then think, and get going on something else? That's what happened to me this morning. I think I was watching on YouTube last night this DIY decorator, and she makes things from Dollar Tree, and it was fascinating to me. And she had just gone out in her backyard and got some fern leaves and dried them, flattened them out and dried them, and then framed them in these black frames, and then put them on her wall kind of in a little gallery, and it was so cute. So I think that was on my mind when I got this card. I will put a little greenery behind a frame. So see, you can get your inspiration from everywhere. YouTube decorating with Dollar Tree. Okay, the card base is terracotta tile, I thought that was a nice fall color, and it was one of the inks I used, so I pulled that color from there for our card base. I've got a 4 by 5 1/4 Very Vanilla for the inside of the card. And then I've got a little scrap of Early Espresso because I did add a tiny little sentiment to the front. I just couldn't help myself. The inside I put To a Friend Who Makes Me Smile. And the stamps I took from the Forever Fern stamp set. And the little die cut greenery I took from the Coordinating Forever Flourishing dies. These are in the annual catalog, and I don't have my little cheat sheet to show you, but there are some greenery dies and then dies to cut out all of these leafed images. I think every one of these leafed images, so that's why I grabbed that one. It's always nice to tuck some greenery behind tags and things. So that's the bundle I'm using today, and then I'm also using the layering stitched rectangle dies. Get that name right. And I went ahead and cut the frame out of some, I had a little sample here, of the brushed metallic. This is the brushed gold. There's a brushed copper and a brushed gold in the packet. So, oops, I cut a frame out using the rectangles. And now we need to cut a rectangle out of, I should have another piece. Oh, here it is. I was so organized. I forgot I was so organized. I got it already, but we're going to cut. We're going to cut that greenery out of the brushed gold, and we're going to cut a frame out of this little layer that we're going to frame all of our stuff out. There's a layer of terracotta tile. So I'm going to pull up my die cutting machine. Now, when I was watching the tutorials on this alcohol technique, one of the gals was using glossy cardstock. So instead of the photo paper, you could try glossy cardstock. I don't have any glossy cardstock, but I had photo paper, so that's what I used. My big shots of popping. If you all are in need of a die cutting machine, the Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine is now available for purchase. I haven't gotten one yet, but I have heard very good things about it. My dogs are wanting to go out, so I hope I might have to step away, ladies. How unprofessional. I always try and let them out right before I get on, just in case. We'll see if she quits. We'll see if she quits and lays down. Sometimes she's persistent. Okay, so we've cut the little frame out of that layer, and I'm going to have to go let her out, ladies. I don't know if I can mute this. You're going to hear everything. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Carol, I have a little, what is she? She's a handful. Schnoodle. She's a Schnauzer Poodle mix. And I inherited my daughter's Cockapoo. So I have a little white Cocker Spaniel Poodle mix and a little black Schnauzer Poodle mix. My husband says that poodles get around because it seems like all dogs are mixed with poodles. So that's his joke. Anyways, he's a hoot. Okay, since this was kind of rustic, I wanted my brushed gold frame and greenery to be a little aged and kind of look brassy. And I don't know if the picture's picking it up. I tried to sponge it with the inks like we did on this, and it didn't really stick to the metallic or this fabric or material. So I took some early espresso ink and I just kind of roughed it up a little bit. I'll move this. Just to kind of take the shiny off, make it look like it's kind of old. And it did kind of make it look brassy instead of gold. And again, there was no science to this. I just played with it, kind of sponged the edges. Okay, it just kind of took a little bit of the shine off. You can tell the difference between the frame and the leaves. This is a little shinier. So then I just took some more and did the same thing to the frame. I don't know why. I just kind of wanted it to be a little aged. You could just leave it plain and it would be fine. I think it would look just as good. Okay. While we've got our ink out, why don't we go ahead and ink or stamp our sentiment. This is for the inside of the card, and I'm using the to a friend who makes me smile. I love that little sentiment. And I'm doing that in early espresso too. Okay. Now we just have to put the card together, and we're going to do a little heat embossing on the little tag. So I found the easiest way to get this, because I cut it so short, because I wanted to use half of the paper. I didn't want to waste so much paper because I'm cheap that way. I wanted to make two cards like the same. So I'm going to hold it like that once I put my adhesive on to figure out my placement, if that makes sense, because it's just a little, and this photo paper is a little slick. There we go. Now my fingers are very full of adhesive. So I kind of just held it behind here. Here's the front. Oh, it's sticking to my fingers. To kind of figure out where I wanted it, where it needed to go. Not where I wanted it to go, but where it needed it to go on the card front. So that's how I did that. Then I used this again. I haven't adhered it down yet, but to determine where I want my little greenery to go. And I used some little mini dimensionals on this. I think I used about 4 on some of these bigger leaves. Might cut a couple in half. I don't think you need that many unless you're going to manhandle the card. You just want it to stay on the card, of course. So I just kind of put some in each section of the plant. Okay. I wish my thing wasn't so dirty. Should have left my craft mat out. It's full of paint right now. Oh, these are so tiny. Okay, so I'm going to use this to kind of determine my placement of my greenery. I want it to kind of be growing up out of the bottom, if that makes sense. That's how I did that. Now we can place the frame down, and I use just the edges of Stampin' Dimensionals. Or Stampin' Dimensionals. I wanted it to pop up. Like it was in a shadow box, kind of. I like to use these bones for this type of thing. Okay, that'll probably do it. Okay, so now we're going to just put this over our background. And then when I first made the card, it wasn't framed out, and I just thought it needed something, so that's why I added the gold frame. And because these stitched rectangle dies nest inside each other, you can make frames really nicely with these. You can make wider frames or narrow frames. I just did a little narrow one for this card. Just trying to make sure that none of that inside cardstock's showing. Okay, that fun. And the last thing I did was add the little tag, and I didn't want to take away from anything, so I heat embossed. Let's go ahead and put our card insert in first. I heat embossed the little hello, and that's from the Forever Fern stamp set as well. Just a tiny little greeting. I didn't want it to really take take away. Like I said, I think I'm going to make one of these that's 6x4 and put it in a 4x6 frame or 6x4 frame and frame it out for a little fall decoration, just set around the house. And I won't put the little sentiment tag on there. So we're going to heat emboss real fast. I'm going to take my static tool to a little scrap of early espresso cardstock. And then I need some Versamark ink and some white embossing powder. And I didn't pay attention if it was straight or not because I'm going to just trim it out with my scissors anyway. Here's another kitchen item I keep in my craft room. It's coffee filters for embossing. I've tried the little trays and it just seems like the static, it just sticks to the tray and it's harder than it needs to be. Okay, it's going to be loud for just a second while I heat this up. And then we'll just trim it out. I can't cut a straight line for the love. And I don't know why. I always have to go back and straighten it out. You'd think if I was just cutting, the scissor would do all the work. But there's always a lump or a hump. But that's good enough. Okay, and then I just took a little bit of some glue on this end. And put a little Stampin' Dimensional on this end. And I've got some of the cotton ball fuzz from our, I guess you would call it kind of sponging, right? We kind of sponged that on there with a cotton ball. I wonder if I have, I'm going to pull out this paper. I don't know if the color will be very good so you can kind of see better because my mat is such a mess. That is our card today. Man, I can't believe we did that so fast. And what did you call this, Carol? You called it polished stone technique. So I would love to hear if you guys try it out and see what you think. Try it with different colors. I'm thinking of doing some blues and things and then doing some snowflakes or a winter card. And probably with my leftover, I'm going to die cut some leaves out. So keep look out on my Facebook page for cards using the leftovers. So thank you guys for dropping in. You're so lovely to be here and chat with me every Wednesday. You all go have a great day, and if I can help you with any of your paper crafting needs, I would love to do so. And congratulations, Valerie. I'll get that out in the mail to you. And everybody else who ordered in, what month are we in? August. I will also have a little thank you gift in the mail for you as well. I'm working on those this afternoon. So we will talk to you soon. I'll be back on Monday for Make It Monday. Bye-bye.